Everyone. We will be starting our monthly webinar in a short while. Today's topic is TikTok marketing, how to use that. So we will be starting maybe in a minute or so, and we hope that others can join at that point of time. So some basic rules in terms of the webinar itself. Again, this is our monthly webinar where we take up topics which we feel are relevant to small businesses, and focus based on what we are experiencing or based on our research, based on what we are actually doing with our clients. And if you would like us to come up with a seminar or any topic that you would like us to focus on, feel free to post your comments here. We'll be more than happy, and if there's a demand for a specific topic or something, we'll be more than happy to kind of like start or at least host a webinar on that one. Apart from that, all these webinars are actually stored on our this one on our website when you go to mconnect.com/webinars. So I just want to make sure if everyone can hear me. All right. Can everyone see my screen, guys? All right. A little bit about us, about mConnect. So we are founded in 2015 with a focus on restaurant marketing, and we've started as a services company. And over the years, we have developed our mConnect platform. We call this as a customer engagement platform, where we can keep track of the customer journey, right? And that's where it is in terms of. Give us a second. I think you cannot see my screen. Just 1 second. Let me see if I can. All right. Can you see my screen, guys, now? I hope you guys can hear me and see the screen, right? All right, great. Again, as I was telling a little bit about, I'm kind of like founded in 2015 with focus on restaurant marketing and emphasis on being an accountable customer engagement model. Again, the topic here is specifically to do with TikTok. It's been the rage over the past couple of months. We are seeing the number of downloads, the number of articles which we have seen, and also we have started implementing at a couple of our clients' location, and the results which we have seen are pretty amazing. And this is our assumption that with any new platform that comes in the market, you actually are going to see the results. And as everyone gets onto the bandwagon, because of the saturation, the efficacy or that particular of the platform, it goes down. That's what actually has happened with Facebook. That is what actually is happening with Instagram right now. But with TikTok, we are actually seeing, given the fact that it's a new platform or a new kid on the block, the results in terms of the engagement, in terms of the reach and other metrics that we are seeing with the TikTok when we are implementing it on our for a few of our clients is pretty good. And that's one of the reasons why we have actually are having this webinar. Again, the webinar is basically around how one can actually use TikTok, both from an advertising point of view and also paid advertising, and also what are the different things that one can actually do with regards to like promoting it organically. All right. Obviously, TikTok is nothing but it's an app, a video app in a nutshell, right? Where people can upload um, their videos, and you can do a lot of stuff in that in terms of layovers, animations, lip syncs, and all those kind of things, special effects, and obviously hashtags and all those kind of stuff, right? The brief is obviously it was started in 2016, and it's been basically in the past couple of months, it's been the most downloaded app. As a matter of fact, the emergence of TikTok actually has, you can actually say the roots are in India. It's the number one app which is being downloaded in India, and then followed by US as well. So the number of downloads within 2019 is phenomenal in terms of the number of downloads they actually have. So obviously here in US, it's been merged with Musically so that it can like kind of as a, it was basically started as like a lip syncing and all those kind of things, but it has gone beyond that as well. Right now, as you can actually see, the number of users and all those kind of things, obviously these numbers are pretty old, but in February 2019, it itself has 27 million active users. But maybe I was actually reading an article in November of 2019, they have close to 250 million or something like that. I'm not sure, 250 million, maybe around like 100 million, or I'm not sure about the numbers, but it's the second most downloaded app in US, right? Again, the reasons for any business to be on TikTok is it's a growing brand, and that means as a small business, the number of or the impact of this one is much higher, in the sense that like from an reach versus organic reach and all those kind of things, those numbers you would actually see a much better this one. And given the fact that TikTok is also actively looking for partners to kind of like work with, so that it's a good place to be, so that you can actually have the benefits of the both worlds kind of a thing, right? Again, these are the demographics. It is kind of like catch them in, something similar to Snapchat, between 13 to 24 years old, and mostly used by females. But at the same time, with age, you're also getting the next demographics, which are like the 24 to 30-year-olds, who are actually going to use this one. So it is pretty good from a marketing perspective. This is a pretty good demographics, and obviously the wow factor, or the kind of the cool factor is right now with this particular app. And then it's easy to basically to market on TikTok, in the sense that like you can create your own channel, and there are a lot of influencers that you can actually reach out to. And obviously with any platform out there, there is also the ads platform that you can actually work with in terms of trying to see if you can actually promote your brand using their paid ads and those kind of things, right? Again, the fact that it's easy to use, you have the right demographics, and it's a growing brand. All these three culminate into making this like an effective platform at this point of time, right? So again, we've been talking about TikTok, right, our perspective, right, from a N Connect perspective. As we talked early in the webinar, it's all about like we actually look at a customer engagement or a customer journey, and the rest of the webinar we're going to actually talk about how this tool, how the TikTok platform can be used across these multiple stages of the customer journey, in terms of how you can use it to increase or improve your awareness, how you can actually start engaging with your customers, and how you can actually drive them to your stores or drive them to your online sales, and how you can actually make them loyal. And at the same time, if there are any influencers, or you can actually make your customers as your own brand ambassadors, so that they can actually advocate about your brand. So that's how we at NConnect treat any particular platform when it comes to marketing purposes. We look at how this a tool or a platform can be used across these five stages, and what are the different strategies that one actually has to adopt in terms of, okay, in engagement, you need to have much more videos and some other hashtags and all those kind of things. Maybe at the acquisition stage, you need to have coupons and all those kind of things. Again, each stage, based on the stage and based on the platform, your strategy would change, and that's how we actually look at it from a marketing perspective. Having said that, let's talk about like this to start, right? How can you actually start using TikTok, right? In the sense, it's again as a simple tool that you can actually download it. And by default, when you download it, you would basically be starting to see videos which are posted. And obviously they actually have videos of like most popular and all those kind of things that actually will come up, right? You can keep on like looking at all these videos and all those kind of things, and then you can actually create an account and all those kind of things. But at the same time, you can like, there are multiple, like at the bottom of the this one, you can actually look at discover, or if you have already created an account, you will actually have an inbox and all those kind of things, right? And obviously in the discover phase, you can actually look at if there are any competitor brands or anyone within your neighborhood area that you can actually look at the kind of content they are posting, and you can get some kind of um, some kind of like inspiration for the kind of content that you want to post on this one, right? So obviously you need to create an account, and you can actually, the very first thing that you do is when you create an account, it would be a personal account, something similar to Instagram, and you can change it into a business account. Obviously, you start with creating an account with an email or something like that, and then here you would actually be able to add all your information about yourself, your audience, your biography, and you can actually link it to other accounts and all those kind of things, right? This is how it would actually look. Again, these are the screenshots where it would actually say upload your logo, right? And then your username and the bio and all those kind of things in here, right? And then you can start promoting, or you can actually start uploading the videos onto this one. So you actually have two options to upload a video, right? You can actually upload a 15-second video or a 60-second video in here, right? So you can, once you take, and again, you can actually use an existing video, or you can also start, like for example, if you're in a restaurant and you're trying to make a salad or something, you can basically take, saying that, hey, fresh salads of this one shelves, kind of a thing, and you can start adding the video. And there are multiple options at the bottom of the screen where you can actually add effects. Effects in the sense that, in terms of, like, you want to add an overlay, you want to do, like, you want to basically have something in terms of, you basically want to actually write some things, or you want to actually do different effects and all those kind of things as well. So in the sense, at the end of the day, you can create, or you can actually upload, and then you can actually start adding impacts again. So the way you can actually do all these things are, you can actually do, like for example, you can add like the sounds or impacts at each, like for example, for the first 10 seconds you want to add some impact, or some kind of an effect, and then for something else you want to add some stickers, and then you want, for the third half, or for the third of the video, you want to add some kind of sounds and all those kind of things. Again, you can search for sounds, or you can upload a sound and all those kind of things as well, right? Again, it actually has a lot of features in it, and we have actually seen. Obviously, you do not want to kill yourself by adding too many features, but at the same time, adding these features would enable, as in, like, you would actually enable you, or it basically gets more interactions, more engagements with users. That's what we have actually seen with others, right? So for example, here, if it is a Halloween event, or if you're again going back to your restaurant, if you're adding like a new menu item or something like that, or if you're talking to a chef, you might want to add some some kind of like stickers with food items and all those things. So once you're done, you can actually publish it, and you can actually add text and the hashtags and all those kind of things for you to say, hey, like if it's a new launch of a, or you're trying to come up with a new menu, or for the holidays, you have like a pumpkin spiced tea latte, or pumpkin spiced caramel chocolate, or something like that, right? And once you start publishing it, at that point of time, you can actually add multiple, again, as I said, like, you can actually have all these options at the bottom, which will say, okay, music, you can add the stickers, background, and all those kind of things. So it's, again, it's a very simple tool to use, very simple to start with. You can convert that into a business account, where it will actually give you analytics in terms of how many people have seen it and all those kind of things, right? So it's, again, you need to make sure that, obviously, when you're posting some content, this content has to resonate with your target segment, and then you need to actually have the right hashtags that you want to actually have. Like for example, if you are a coffee place, or if you are a beer place, you might want to use some hashtags like around beers, or around coffee, and all those kind of things, right? As you said, like, in terms of making sure, um, the reason for someone to actually go on to TikTok is, it is obviously a video marketing platform, right? So that means you need to make sure that the kind of videos you are doing on this one, it actually has to resonate with your crowd. You need to make sure that it actually is funny and quirky, because that's what we have actually seen is like the kind of videos that basically get the most is, it's not the serious ads, and that's where your effects and all those kind of things will come into play, where where we are actually saying that, hey, this is like, hey, it's a funny video of the chef talking maybe in a different voice, or your friend staff talking in a different voice, saying that, hey, we want you as a customer to be here, and all those kind of things, right? We again, if you look at it, these are some of the brands that are doing pretty well on TikTok. Obviously, one is the Washington Post. It talks about what's going on in the video newsroom, or in the, sorry, in the newsroom. They do actually use all these the music and all those kind of things for people to kind of like, again, end of the day, as we said, like, the content has to be interesting, given the fact that the crowd that you are targeting are in the 14 to 30-year olds. They want something funny, something that they can relate to, and all those kind of things, right? Again, this is another brand which is basically NBA. Obviously, they have the workouts done in the gym by the NBA players, the back in the back office kind of a thing. They have all the mascots and the fans and all those kind of interactions that they do with this one, right? Coming back to this restaurants, obviously that's what we're going to talk about. Is it's not just the big brands, right? Basically, even the restaurants also can actually. Obviously, we're going to give some examples of bigger brands and others, but we also have seen results, pretty good results, when we actually started promoting TikTok for our clients. So this is one, Bailey's Bakery, right? They have around 4.4 million. And if you look at it, the kind of videos they show is pretty amazing, in the sense that they are like, they show the bakers basically decorating the cakes and doing some stuff. And you can actually look at the number of views they've actually got, right? Around 30,000 views and all those things, right? Again, end of the day, if you look at it, it's not just that you need to basically do something different, but make sure that whatever you're doing, it resonates with the crowd. You add some funky music or some kind of like layovers and all those kind of things. And you need to obviously post consistently and all those kind of things, right? The other one is obviously Chipotle, where they actually show the content about their menu items and other stuff, which kind of like, again, it kind of like is what Chipotle stands for. So in this one, again, if you look at it, right, one of the things is, from a marketing standpoint of view, right? Again, if you look at our A2A strategies or A2A customer engagement model, we are talking about how can you use TikTok to increase awareness, right? How can you use TikTok to engage with the customer? How can you use TikTok to drive traffic to your store or to your website, right? And how can you drive or use TikTok to kind of like increase brand loyalty, right? And those are the kind of strategies that we're going to actually talk about in the next few slides. So if you look at it, it's all about hashtags, right? You can try to come up with some ways of um, trying to do some kind of like post something, like, for example, if you're an Indian cuisine place, try to post some things around Indian cuisine, or popular items like paneer tikka masala, or chicken tikka biryani, and those kind of things, right? Or you can also, at the same time, have like some kind of a hashtag challenges, where you actually say, hey, post some things, like, for example, on your in your restaurant, you can say, like, take a video of yourself, and use this hashtag called restaurant name, something like that. Like let's assume it is like XYZ restaurant. So you can actually ask your customers like to have a kind of a contest within the store itself. So when obviously from a hashtag perspective, from a TikTok perspective, as you post, as this hashtag grows, it will automatically go into the feeds of similar kind of profiles of the customers who are actually used to seeing this kind of a video, right? It's all about obviously um, trying to see if what kind of target segments you can actually go after. And similarly, people who are on TikTok with the same profiles will actually be start. You'll actually see the same kind of a videos shown to them, kind of thing, right? For example, let's look at Chipotle, right? They did this. National Avocado Day, where they have started like saying, "Hey, put something set on guacamole song," and this is the result, right? Again, they have done 250,000 video submissions, and they got like the highest sales in a single day about guacamole. Again, obviously, Chipotle being such a national brand, they can look at these numbers. But even as a local brand, you can have the perfect kind of a numbers in the sense that you can actually have let's assume you are a breakfast place and you want to show like how do people behave when they're actually having like a nice breakfast or something. Like when I said behave, it's more in terms of what the customer's reaction would be. Maybe you can actually start with, hey, like breakfast break or something like that. You can actually start the challenge and say anyone who accepts this challenge will be entered into some kind of raffle and will get some kind of a deal and all those kind of things, right? And see, and again, you want to make sure that your customers know that you are on TikTok and you are actually having this hashtag challenge, and that there is some kind of a reward for them so that they can start like taking the videos and all those kind of things and then start posting onto TikTok, right? This is again another brand which is from Guess, right? Where if you look at it, right, one of the things they actually are is they are kind of the music they're actually using is in line with what the challenge is about, right? In the previous one, it's all about Dr. Jean's Guacamole song, and here it is about I'm a Mess song. So they're kind of like combining the music again. That gives the funkiness to the platform. Is if you look at it, it is nothing but all these people are miming or mimicking the song in here, and they're actually posting it, and that's what makes it funnier for others to watch. And that's where, if you look at it, like it kind of creates that viral impact where you actually for this one, right? For example, if you look at maybe from a restaurant's perspective, you can have like either come up with some kind of a challenge, or there is this new song. I think it's the Panini song. We can actually say, hey, panini, instead of panini, you can actually make it your own pizza and have that song saying that, hey, what makes my pizza better than the panini or something like that, right? Obviously kind of giving some random examples here, but that's what the intent is, to have something making sure you have a song or something that would actually go with your challenge here, right? So you can actually have these lyrics or something like that, right? You have a lot of like silly, there are a lot of songs which that can actually go with or a pizza or a breakfast or something like that, right? Um, if again, if you look at it, right, like we are talking about the first two aspects of things, in the sense that we are talking about the awareness, and we are also talking about the engagement here. And the engagement is all about the user generated content here, because that's what, if you as a brand take a video and expect a lot of results, That's not going to actually happen on TikTok at this point of time. It's all about asking your audience, because they can create these videos very, very quickly. They can create the effects. They can have the hashtags. They can basically put a lot of these things. So that is what is the primary driver for TikTok. Again, imagine that, like, how can you make sure your 20-year-old customer is gonna basically take, like, for example, hey, I'm eating a burger and the burger is yummy and it fills my tummy, and there's nothing like this burger, kind of a thing, right? So you want to have that user generated content is the key to TikTok from a marketing perspective. So that means from an engagement perspective, from an awareness perspective, you are making sure that the your customers, or when they promote the video, obviously all their friends are going to actually see the video with the hashtags. So that means you're creating awareness about that particular, about your brand within the social circle of that particular user. And similarly, when they start hashtagging and they're liking it, it's basically increasing the engagement. And then also you can actually say, going back to the Chipotle's example, right? When they have done the guacamole thing, they actually said, okay, this is the offer that we have, and that's where people were able to go and kind of like, hey, they have this guacamole offer from Chipotle, or it is a National Guacamole Day. Let's go ahead and eat kind of like the guacamole and all those kind of things, right? Um, uh, like this is another this one. This is basically where people can, it's a do it your own option on their menu, where when they started doing this one, right, it's like in terms of like the results wise itself, right, when they did this video, and 15,000 people actually basically came to the restaurant. Again, this is a small restaurant. I'm not saying, when I say small restaurant, doesn't, I'm not talking about the Chipotles of the world where they actually have massive budgets, but a small restaurant also, you can try to create, like, for example, if you have like make your own pizza with all the ingredients, right, you can actually show that, and then try to promote it and all those kind of things. And or if you have your own make your bowl, you can also do that. um, the other aspect on this one uh, is in terms of the influencer marketing, right? Um, so if you look at this one, right, there are like pretty. It's again, as we said, right, it's a growing brand. So that means there are influencers who are actually kind of like increasing, or they're basically growing their own brand and all those things. And you can also search the TikTok in terms of the video creators who are actually creating the video, who are in line with your brand, and you can also reach out to them and say, hey, I would like to work with you, see if they're willing to work with you, and all those kind of things, right? So from an influencer marketing perspective as well, if you look at it, you can search for people, or influencers who actually can resonate, or whatever their content they are generating, it can resonate with your brand values, right? So again, it's the important fact is that, like, you need to look for the right kind of an influencer who can actually work with the brand in terms of like the right kind of a messaging, the right kind of engagement that you're expecting, or the sales you're expecting, and so on and so forth, right? You need to make sure, like, again, that they are trying to create the content and everything like that, and you can actually work with them, or you can actually guide them as to what you're expecting and all those kind of things, right? So that in a nutshell is, if you look at it, again, we talked about from a TikTok perspective, right? When you start asking the customers to create, you can create the videos, you can actually create the hashtags and all those kind of things. And as with any platform, you need to constantly engage with others in the neighborhood area. You can search through hashtags. For example, if you are in New York and you want to search for people who are posting around Manhattan or something like that, then you can actually search for Manhattan hashtags and try to find those people. And the assumption is that these are the people who are living in or around Manhattan, and they want to know more about Manhattan and all those kind of things, right? That's in a nutshell what one can do in terms of. Obviously, you can also like post some content around saying that, hey, go to my store today and get 10% off on online orders or something like that, where it would actually generate the sales and all those kind of things, right? In terms of like from an advertising point of view, right? Why this platform matters. Again, if you look at it, the kind of crowd TikTok has today, they are like two-thirds younger than 30 years old, right? And you can also start with a minimum of $500 and excuse me. And the cost per thousand impressions are basically around $10. Um, Again, given the fact that you are actually targeting the younger crowd who are more likely to interact with you on the kind of content you're creating, we feel that it is a pretty good bargain at this point of time. Obviously, again, early on we talked about how once a brand matures, the returns on investment actually starts going down, right? So once you have made the decision, and it's pretty easy for you to start creating the ads as well, in terms of how you can actually start creating the ads and all those kind of things, right? In here, you can actually start creating the ad from the button here, right? And then it would actually ask you to go ahead and create the account details in terms of obviously your details and all those things. And then once it is done, TikTok will basically revert back to you and say, okay, your account has been created and you're now free to go, kind of thing. Again, bear in mind, since it's, again, when compared with other brands, it's in infancy, and that's one of the reasons why you need to basically get like the approval or something like that for the brand itself and for your this one account. And then once you can actually start creating a budget in terms of what kind of objectives you want from this campaign, right? Do you want like conversions, or do you want like people to just visit you and all those kind of things? And then you need to make sure that you can start like doing the budgeting and all those things. At this point of time, the total budget, the minimum budget that is required is $500. So you have to spend a minimum of $500, and you can actually increase it or whatever be the case, right? And here, if you look at it in terms of what you would do with the this one, you can you can manually choose it, or you can automatically assign so that TikTok can choose it based on the profile and all those kind of things. And then you can actually do a much more targeted ads and all those kind of things. So that way, if someone is actually using some keywords or some age and all those kind of things, those ads would be shown to those people who are living in the neighborhood area. Right? And here it's again, all these things are like the relevant ad parameters that are provided to you by TikTok, where you can actually say you want this location, and these are the languages and all those kind of things. And then you also have the option of doing a custom audience in terms of the IDs that you can actually get from as a CSV or this one, right? Um, Again, bear in mind that you need to have a $500 this one, and then the ads can also be shown to people based on the days and the time of the week, so that you might want to like basically front load or like focus more on this one. Uh, you want to focus more on the evenings part or the during the weekends, where you feel that you will get more people optimal, right? Um, Again, we talked about like what is the basic criteria for you to start advertising. You can actually have people coming to the store or making a conversion online where they can actually place an order online, or you can also try to see if you want to get like maximum buzz of people saying that, hey, we are open now. So that means you want as many people as possible to view your ad, because the primary importance at this point of time is all about creating awareness about your brand, right? You can also like integrate with a Facebook pixel and try to see how many people are actually coming through the ad and are actually getting converted based on this ad and all those kind of things, right? In terms of the conversions, also in terms of if you want people to download your app and all those kind of things, you can also try to do it basically on the app side of things. Um, all these are like different parameters that one can actually set up in terms of, hey, do you want to have a standard pacing, or do you want to basically have an accelerated pacing of the ads and all those kind of things. And depending upon that, you can actually change your ad placements and all those things. And at the same time, you can also have this something called a smart optimization, where the intent is for these ads when they're running, they actually look for, okay, if this person is clicking or something, is he gonna be turning into the customer? So in the sense, like they are like basically Snapchat, like basically. TikTok is working for you to make this determination and say, okay, I'm going to actually show this ad only to X and not to Y, because the profiles of X is different from the Y kind of thing. And that's where your smart optimization comes into play, right? Obviously, we have multiple kinds of ads. They can be like your horizontal videos or vertical videos, right? And also you can also do like a square videos in terms of the kind of content that you want to load onto the platform. And again, with any kind of the video content for TikTok, you can customize it with with the music and all those kind of stuff, because you want to make sure that, hey, I'm gonna actually show some value in terms, again, in terms of the brand and all those things, right? In our last, in one of our webinars where we've been talking about Instagram, where we talked about taking over Instagram, you have the same thing even for them as well, in the sense that like it would basically be saying that someone actually took over your this one, and then whenever they try to open that, they would be redirected to an external link or something like that, so that the continuity is not disturbed for this one, right? So in the sense that you can actually have um, a brand takeover in a sense, like where they can start posting as if they are your brand kind of a thing, right? um, and obviously this is also limited to one advertiser per day kind of a thing, right? um, Here if you look at it, you can also right now, because the videos are being shown on a continuous basis, your ads can also um, be shown as part of TikTok videos, depending upon the product and all those kind of things, right? And apart from that, you can also participate in this hashtag challenges. We have actually seen in multiple times where a customer says like you want to, like, again, if you are a pizza place, you want to say pizza is my life, or some kind of a contest where you can actually say, or if you're a brand xyz is my life kind of a thing, where you can have these hashtags and ask your customers to post about it and all those kind of things, right? um, so in terms of the advertising, right, like we've been talking about how to create the ads and all those kind of things, but with any specific content that you have, it's all about making sure that the right um, as in like the right content is being used, right? So here you need to make sure that you have the right like content wise, in terms of the videos, in terms of the text that goes with it, right? And do you actually have some kind of a CTA for that particular ad, so that you can actually measure the efficacy of this one, in the sense that, hey, I would actually have like a high resolution images and all those things, and then maybe some context or some kind of content that will lead people to read this, see the video, read this, and say, okay, I want to avail that offer. Let me click on this link, kind of a thing. Um, you can also do the other things, like for example, you can have the videos. You can also do the creative optimization, in the sense that you can actually have pictures and all those other things into one asset, and then you can actually say, hey, this is how it would look like, kind of a thing, right? In essence, if you look at it, right, like we've been saying that TikTok, as a matter of fact, is a growing brand. We have started implementing it in a couple of our locations, client locations, and we are seeing some pretty good results in terms of the reach wise, in terms of number of people who are knowing about us, and making sure that you have the right content. Again, this is a fun kind of a channel, and you want to make sure whatever you are posting is relevant to you and to the brand. So one has to make sure that, like, you are basically posting the right content. That is the most important. You are engaging with your customers, or with your employees, or something like that, in the sense that you are basically making sure that you are like trying to generate the user generated content. Like for example, if you want to post something around how would a day in a server's life would be, right? You can actually show that the person coming in at 10 o'clock, and then toiling all the way till 10 p.m. in the night, and kind of like making that as a shorter video, so that people can understand, or your customers can understand how difficult it is to work in a restaurant. And then if your staff members drop a ball or something like that, then the customers can be more understanding in terms of, hey, this is a genuine mistake and it happens, and those kind of things, rather than running to Google and writing a review about it and those things, right? So you need to make sure that you are like focusing on the right content, the right strategy, because you know your customers are there on TikTok, and you want to make sure that you are actually using it to the health. Again, couple of pointers I want to reiterate again. It's a new platform. That means not a whole lot of people. When I say not a whole lot of people, when it comes to the scale, we are seeing like pretty good results from an organic reach perspective, and one can actually start like using this one, and it's a pretty easy tool. Just you basically start and click install, and you're ready to go. No need to even create an account as well for you to start using this one. So that actually wraps up our monthly webinar. Obviously, we ended up this in a little early. If you have any questions, maybe wait for a couple of minutes. If not, feel free to send us an email at marketing@mconnect.com, right? And if you want to partner with us, or if you want to know more about mconnect platform or how we can actually help you, um, this is the email marketing@mconnect.com, and we will try to respond to you as quickly as possible. All right, that concludes this month's webinar. And next year, which will be in January, we will be coming with a new webinar. Keep looking at this one. And our topic is basically hyper-local marketing, in the sense that, again, we are looking at like restaurants or small businesses. So we will talk about strategies around how you as a brand can reach out to your local customers. What are the different strategies in terms of the social media, in terms of local marketing, and all those kind of things. So that way you are building relationships with your customers who work or live within your neighborhood areas. Right. That concludes our monthly webinar, team folks. And thanks everyone to those who have actually joined. And for those who are missed out, we always upload our webinar onto our resources page. Feel free to go to our resources page, and you can actually get the entire webinar recorded. And so that way you can see this webinar at your own leisure. And again, do not forget, if you have any questions, please contact us. This is the contact information. And we hope to see you again for our next webinar in January. We will be releasing the date shortly, but hopefully it would be in the first week of January. All right, happy holidays and happy new year, guys, and we'll see you next year.